Here we go again. New year, new you, a fresh new round of you trying the same old side hustles that everybody's promoting, only to invest in it, lose money instead of making it, and lose yet another year of your life that you'll never get back. Over the past 15 years, I've tried so many different side hustles, and here's the real deal. At the time of recording this, I'm not selling any courses, I'm not selling any business opportunities or anything like that. This video is not a sleazy backdoor approach to get you to buy something. I just literally don't want you to go through the same painful experiences that I've been through. And actually, I've made money with many of these side hustles. In fact, for various of the side hustles that I'll discuss, I've made life-changing money. But here's the thing. 99% of you watching this are gonna go on YouTube or go on Instagram, go on TikTok and find the next shiny new side hustle. And you're gonna say, this is the year that I'm really gonna figure it out. I'm gonna change my financial situation. I'm gonna create passive income and this will be the year. But you wanna hear something crazy? You probably don't even want passive income at all. You don't. And you hear me saying this and you're like automatically, oh, you're crazy. Of course I want passive income. That's exactly what I want. But actually, passive income is something you should avoid like the plague. And here's why. Around 2010 to 2012, I was just about getting ready to graduate my undergrad, and that huge anxiety hit me that I think hits all of us. Like, what job am I gonna get? Where am I gonna live? What exactly am I gonna be doing after graduation? But the thing is, I already knew what I didn't want to do after graduation. I never saw myself in a cubicle, 9 to 5, clocking in and clocking out, depressed, hating my life. But you know what I really love doing? Sitting around with my friends, talking about philosophy, politics, pretty much anything intellectual. And I asked myself, how the hell can I make this my lifestyle for the rest of my life? But at the same time, I knew the financial reality. My family and I had been helping a family friend for years, which put a lot of financial strain on us. My mom had just recently gotten a divorce, which added a lot of financial pressure. And to add to all that, I had a lot of student loans because that's how I was paying for school. But amidst all of that, I remember periods of time when I would just sit beside my bed and think to myself, you know, I am gonna be rich one day. I'm gonna make it one day. I'm going to not have all of this financial pressure and things are gonna be okay. And not only that, I'm gonna be able to do that and make a huge impact on the world. And you know, it was this mindset that really kept me going, even through all the difficulties and all the huge financial stress and anxiety, because my desire was so strong for that kind of intellectual life that I wanted, that kind of dream that I wanted, that it really kept me going. So I'm telling you all this up front because although today I have total financial freedom, time freedom, lifestyle freedom, like location freedom, I can work wherever I want, do whatever I want, be wherever I want, take time off if I want. Even though all that's true, I've made so many mistakes along my journey and learned so many lessons from those mistakes that I believe can help you really take a shortcut to where you want to be. So what did I ultimately do after I graduated? Go to more school, of course. And I came up with an idea that I thought at the time was brilliant. Get an MD PhD. I thought, okay, I'll have the MD to financially support me, and then the PhD side, that could be, you know, the thing that helps me live that intellectual lifestyle, that dream that I want. And at the time, I ran this by my economics professor, who I love her. She just really didn't pull any punches. She didn't sugarcoat anything. She was just totally direct. And she basically told me, that's a really stupid idea. You should not pursue medicine for the money only. And of course, I didn't listen. But you know what? Haven't you been at a crossroads like this before where, you know, you didn't quite see any options to get where you wanted to be, and so you just took the option that was kind of like the least bad one? I mean, what was I really supposed to do? I just kept thinking about what I wanted to avoid, which was that clock in, clock out lifestyle, 9 to 5, being in a cubicle all day, hating my life, depressed. And so what does this all have to do with why you should probably avoid passive income? Well, because it was just about that time that I discovered my first passive income opportunity, network marketing. And okay, all right, you either hate network marketing, or you love network marketing, or you literally just don't know what I'm talking about by network marketing. There's usually not an in the middle in terms of loving or hating this industry. But whatever you think about this industry, it, as well as so many of the passive income opportunities I discovered along the way of being involved with network marketing, really taught me a lot about the do's and don'ts about passive income. First, when I got into network marketing, it was through being introduced to it from a friend from my undergrad. It cost me about $400 to get started, and so I thought, okay, it's $400. I'm in tons of debt already. Whatever. I don't know anything about this opportunity. I have no idea what even a business means, but I'll give this a shot. But the problem is all the financial issues that I told you before, plus me being in debt as a student, really didn't leave me with very good financial habits. And so I didn't even have any kind of cash flow strategy. I didn't know what cash flow was. So I was essentially doing network marketing with no job and no income. Very, very smart, right? And if you know anything about network marketing, you do have to invest in trainings, and you have to invest in products. You have to invest like a business to just keep it going. But I discovered something else that was really important about network marketing, which really was quite helpful looking back. And that's the idea of being pushed out of my comfort zone. You see, in network marketing, you have to really go out and hustle to get contacts. And that's on a daily basis. Like, I'm talking about like 20 contacts a day. You have to, find them anywhere, in a cafe, on a bus, like out on the street, wherever you just have to find contacts. And so imagine me, like this introverted intellectual nerd, and I have to learn now how to talk to people, and I barely even talked to people outside of my friends group, which was 6 people at the time. And now I'm in a situation where I have to, book appointments, do presentations, call people, make contacts, build rapport, build team, and all that stuff. But you know what? Over time, I actually got good at it. And something else happened as a byproduct of me having to go and push myself to connect with lots and lots of people every day. Over time, I made all these different connections with different people in different industries. And the fact that I had to listen to them and learn about their industries really made me learn a lot about different things like real estate investing, index funds, insurance, you name it. And because one of my strengths was and still is analytical thinking, I made it a point to really dissect and understand every single business model that was presented to me. I really had this strong desire not just to understand the network marketing industry, but to understand business on a really deep level. And after years of doing this, I started to realize what I should have done from day one. And honestly, how this also applies to any passive income opportunity you're thinking of going into, whether that's real estate investing, whether that's index funds, whether that's doing vending machines or YouTube automation or whatever you want to do. And the 3 most powerful lessons I learned were this. Number 1, ditch the side hustle mindset. You will lose money if you treat passive income businesses as side hustles. What I mean by this is that if you think of a passive income business just as like a side thing, this side hustle, you've already failed from day one, because what this makes a lot of people do is makes them fail to prepare financially for what you actually need to do to manage cash flow and everything. Because we have to recognize what it is. It is a business. It's not a job. It's not a side job. Uber is a side hustle. Selling stuff on the street is a side hustle. There are many types of things where you can trade $1 for an hour and call it a side hustle. But any form of passive income isn't. I don't care if on the relatively high risk side you're doing real estate investing, or on the relatively low risk side you're doing things like index funds, you're still going to need some sort of cash flow system or cash flow strategy. Some of you out there are on your last $20 in your bank account, and others of you are, earning 6 figures, but you have 6 figures of obligations, and you guys are thinking, okay, I want to create passive income, but couldn't be more mistaken. You see, that was my absolute biggest mistake. What I should have done from day one with the friend who introduced me to this opportunity is just tell them, okay, it sounds like an interesting opportunity, but what I'm going to do first is get a full-time, high-paying job, get a solid living situation, and save up, a couple thousand over 1 to 2 years, and then I'll come back and have this conversation with you. Really, stop thinking about wanting to make passive income before you achieve true financial stability. Because what happened to me is I was addicted to short-term thinking. Any money I made at all from network marketing went right into my pockets and right into my living expenses, which is just the worst mistake you could ever make in business. All my decisions revolved around making the next dollar so I could survive and so I could pay my bills. But that ended up making me make some really dumb decisions that sabotaged my long-term success. You see, passive income is not for creating financial stability. And if you treat it that way, what happened to me is exactly what's going to happen to you, which is you're just going to treat it with short-term thinking. You're going to keep chasing the dollar and the next dollar and the next dollar, and it's going to sabotage your long-term success, even though you might gain a little bit in the short term. And why? Simple. You're desperate for the extra money. Think about doing real side hustles first. Things that don't require any investment at all, but where you can invest a few hours per week and make a little extra money. Hell, I don't care. Go get a second boss, a third boss, do whatever you need to do. What that's going to do is it's going to help you stash away some serious cash that will enable you to invest in building up your skill sets. Things like courses, training, personal development. And it's also going to allow you to stash away enough money for things like initial startup expenses, inventory, marketing costs, anything you actually need to run the business. And now what that's going to free you up to do is be able to switch your mentality. Whereas you would have had to focus on making the next buck and making decisions that were short-term focused, now you want to have that extra pressure of having your passive income as your primary or even your secondary income source, and you'll be able to make decisions that are geared toward the long term. The second lesson I learned is ongoing income equals ongoing value. Just think about what passive income really means for a moment. It means you getting to sit back and get continuously paid for something you're currently not doing. And just logically, think about what you would actually need to do in terms of time, money, effort in order to create something like that. In the case of network marketing, it's a matter of, building up a repeat customer base, providing that customer service, and also training other people to do exactly the same thing, which is really freaking hard. So think about this really important question. Why do you currently deserve the luxury and the privilege of being paid continuously for something you're not actively doing? Why should other people give you that luxury? The answer is you'll only be deserving if you're willing to commit to providing so much value that 95% of people are either unable to or unwilling to provide. And that's what it really takes to create passive income. There you go. No sugarcoating it. So when I was in network marketing, I failed for years up front because I didn't have any skills. I didn't have any value to provide in the way of communication, team building, encouragement, empowerment, teaching, business skills. I literally, guys, didn't know the difference between a wholesale price and a retail price. And so if we find ourselves in this situation where, okay, we don't really have the skills yet and we have to go there and build it up, we're going to have to accept up front that we're going to have to put in a lot of work up front with little to no to sometimes negative payoff in order to be worthy of having passive income in the first place. And this is going to take time. Don't be fooled by looking at people like Alex Hormozy and Graham Stephan and Iman Gaji and say, oh, they're overnight successes. But Alex Hormozy, for example, he had years of sales and business experience before he even thought of launching Gym Launch. Graham Stephan, very similar. He had years of pivoting and frustration and also some experience as a kid, making some money in order to build up to that point where he could be a successful millionaire in real estate. And Iman Gaji, he went in the bathroom during school lunch hours to practice writing copy, all while all the other kids made fun of him. But over time, he built up that skill set to where now he owns and operates a successful marketing agency. So bottom line, if we're not investing in ourselves first, we shouldn't expect anyone else to invest in us. And the third lesson I learned is really understand your income preference. So eventually I left network marketing, not because I felt it wasn't a good business model. I mean, actually, compared to a lot of companies in the industry, the company does a lot of things right. I mean, I still even sell the products, because why not? I mean, I have a lot of satisfied customers. I'm not just gonna leave them. But I just couldn't help feeling that day in and day out, I was just plodding along, clocking in and clocking out, adding context to my list, prospecting, booking appointments, and I started not to really see any purpose in my daily activities beyond just increasing my income. It started to just feel like a meaningless grind, and I started to ask myself, am I really making the kind of impact that I can make? I also got involved along the way with running a standardized test prep agency in New York City, and that made a lot of money too. But for many of the same reasons, I found myself asking that same question. You see, originally I had gotten involved with network marketing because of that dream that I wanted to be a full-time lecturer, full-time traveling and working on different projects and doing intellectual things. But I started to find that I couldn't have been further from that dream. And in network marketing especially, you often hear phrases like, use network marketing as a vehicle to get what you want. But I now just can't disagree more with that kind of thinking. You see, there are definitely seasons in life when you should, just pursue something as a means to an end and do that for maybe a short period of time to get what you want. But I've come to realize that those situations are actually quite rare. Be really careful about treating any opportunity as just a means to get what you want. Instead, we always have to check in with ourselves and really understand, is the thing that I'm pursuing and is the thing that I'm doing to make income really aligned with my core values? And that's another reason you have to really check in with yourself to know what your core values are. And that applies to passive income or active income. You might be listening to this right now and feel that same inner tension that I felt. And the only thing I want you to do is just please don't ignore that tension. You're only ignoring it because you're afraid to change. But just have the courage to acknowledge it and do whatever it takes to become aligned with how you're making money. Another false belief in network marketing is everybody is a possibility. And what they mean by that is that everyone is a potential candidate to be recruited. And I've also come to believe that couldn't be further from the truth as it applies to everything in life. Not everyone is a fit for every opportunity. Passive income, more generally, isn't a fit for everyone. Business and entrepreneurship isn't a fit for everyone. And guess what? That's okay. It doesn't have to be. Who set up this rule that everybody has to be an entrepreneur? The truth is, everybody does need some form of passive income eventually. I mean, we can't physically keep working forever. But for some people, the answer to that is to work for 40 to 50 years and collect an old age pension. For others, it's paying into index funds for 45 years until you can have an income that's passive enough to live on. And for others, this is my own income preference, it's grinding 80 hours a week for 5 years hard so you can create enough passive income that you can live off for the rest of your life. But you're the only one who can define that income preference. Don't let propaganda from social media or your friends or your family or anyone else affect that income preference. It's up to you to make this year the best one ever. Don't waste your time. Keep growing. And if you want to keep leveling up, then watch this next video.